Hi folks, this is Vicki at patternprincess.com, and today I wanted to show you how to do it's like a half square triangle. This is what we call it in quilting terms, but it's really a half of a square is a different color than the other half of the square. And as you'll notice, there really are no seams in this, okay, all around. I take care of that by using a corner to do my switches. Right here are the corner stitches that I use for those. And I also, what's unique about this is I'm not, if I wanted to, as I'm changing yarn color, each row here in the half of it, I am not, if you notice, we'll look close, I am not carrying my yarn through each row, and I am not cutting my yarn off each round, okay? So I am changing color each round. I'm going to show you this one so that you can see I'm kind of pulling it apart here. It has a very nice clean finish. And you can see like some areas here a little bit where it peeks out, and here a little bit, it kind of peeked down a little bit. But it's just, because I am going over some yarn here, but I can squish those yarns together and now it doesn't look so bad. So I'm going to stretch it out so you can see it nice here. But this is a nice solid granny square. And it's done half in one color and half of the other. So, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4. These squares are 5 squares around, and I've done those in Caron Simply Soft. I used a red heart yarn here, and I did it in a black and a blue, just a sample. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds. This is a little bit thicker, doesn't flow as nice actually as the nice Caron Simply Soft. I think that this square turned out better. This was a little bit, this one would have to be stretched so it would be nice and square because it feels a little bit wonky, a little bit thick, but it would still work with a thick yarn. And then this was done in pink and blue. This would be a cute little baby blanket. And this is also red heart. It's just leftover yarns that I'd had to show you how easy it is to change up colors, use your yarn scraps in a project. So I'm going to do this for you today. I'm going to do the first couple rounds because once you get past, like, you know, the first round, it's a repeating of what you're doing. So I'm going to get my slip knot on my hook. And I'm just going to use a light blue here, Caron Simply Soft, with that minty green kind of that I had. That chartreuse, I think it's called. So first thing we're going to do, chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Yarn over and right back into that first stitch. We're going to do 2 double crochet. So that's 1, 2. Our first double crochet. I was going to count going through my stitches. 2 double crochets, and then chain 2. That's my first corner. And then 3 double crochets right in the same corner. 1, or I should say same stitch. 2, 3. Okay. And I'm going to chain 1. Okay. Because that's my second corner. So right now I have a side, a corner, and a side, and part of another corner. I've just started that. Okay, so I'm going to set this down. Now I'm going to get my green yarn. And now I kind of like to make a little loop here. And I bring my yarn through. And this yarn does loosen up. This blue here, this will loosen up. But as you come back around for the next round, you can tighten it up again before you do that the first stitch of the next round when we switch colors back again. Hopefully that makes sense. So I tighten that up a little bit. I'm going to take, this is the tail. This one's a tail one. So I'm going to take my long yarn and I'm going to yarn over and go through this loop. Pull this. That's my first stitch. That's like a chain 1. Then I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to toss the blue yarn and the tail of the green yarn to the side. I had tried to crochet over one of them, but I found that didn't look very well. You could see it through there, so I stopped. I didn't do that. So I'm going to go right into that same hole now, and I'm going to do my next side. So that's 3 double crochet. There's 1, 2, 3. And what you're seeing here is just my tail here. Okay? And now we're going to do it another side is chain 2, another corner. And now I'm going to go right back in here and do another side with 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. And now what we do is we slip stitch into the top starting chain of the blue from the previous, or from our, or I shouldn't say the previous, from our first chain stitches. Now I'm going to set this down so you can see what I've done. So we have a little square, and you could just stop at this if you want, and you switch the yarn, and it's half one color and half the other. So if you needed to do a really itty-bitty square that's 2 different colors, you could in just one round do that. Okay, so now we're going to go on to round 2. So we turn it. So here's it took me a while to figure out how to do this. But it brought me back to a conversation I had with my daughter when I was trying to carry yarn up to the side for the first time. And my yarn was on one side that I needed to switch to. But I was over here and it was over on the other side. And so it was like, oh, you crochet back to it. You crochet back to your color, if that makes sense. So I spent some time thinking about this and making this work. So now I'm going to crochet the green, but back to the blue. So I'm going to crochet back to it. So I'm going to slip stitch in this chain 2 space 2 times to get me set for where I need to be, because I want to be over on this side of the work. Okay, so I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to double crochet in the same space. Each corner space is going to have 2 double crochet and 2 chains. Okay, so now what we do is we're just going to double crochet, because this is a solid solid granny square. So I can't talk today. It's a solid granny square, so we are going to do a double crochet in each of the previous 3 stitches on each side. Okay, there's 3. All right, now in this corner we're going to do our 2 double crochet. There's 1, 2, and 2 chains, and then 2 more double crochet in that corner. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit more yarn. All right, now we're going to do our next side with our 3 double crochet. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Now, I'm going to snug that blue up a little bit here. So in my corner, like I did with the other corner, I'm going to do the half of this in the green, because I did my 2 double crochet over here in this corner, and then I did the full corner here. So this is half of this corner, full of this corner, and I'm going to do half of this corner. So it's going to be 2 double crochet. There's 2, and then I'm going to chain 1 for half of that corner. And now I snug up my blue and I bring it through here. Now I snug up my green a little bit and I do my chain 1, and now I continue on. I toss those just like I did the previous round, toss those to the side, and I'm going to finish. I'm going to do my 2 double crochet in that corner in blue now. Now I'm in blue. Now I continue to go around and I'm going to do my 3 double crochet on the side. Every round you're going to add 4 double crochet stitches to each side. So every round you'll have 16 more stitches total if you take all of the stitches in the side. So we're going to do our 2nd double crochet in this corner. Okay, so now we're on our last side. Had to get some more yarn. So we got 3 double crochet we've got to accomplish yet. Now I'm going to show you a little trick. I normally was crocheting just in the top of the first stitch, the next stitch, and the next stitch. But for some reason, this is the only round this happens. I don't know why. I don't know what. But I tried. Like, there's no place to put your third double crochet over here. Because I think I have it, and I don't know why. There should be 1, 2, and there should be 3 stitches. There is that 3rd stitch here, but I think I got it covered up into here. And when I went into here to do it, then my green was peeking through and I didn't like it. So what I did, and this is, and like I said, I don't know why, this is the only row that this happens to. So I kind of go in this like little, I don't know, like a little stitch before this stitch right here. So I've been kind of putting it in here because it makes it nice. You don't even notice it. You don't see it. So there's 1 double crochet, and now I just proceed like normal. 2 double crochets and 3. And again, this row here is the only one that happens to. But I did not like the way that this was, that it still kind of peeks through there. But it's not as bad as what it was if I didn't do that. So I don't know, just a thing with me, I guess. And a chain 2. And now we're going to slip stitch into the top chain 3 of the row before. Now we have, look at this, 2 rounds done. Okay. And there are, if you really look, you can see, you know, can you see where, you know, it's not quite in the center here? Sure you can. But when you look at a bigger square, and as you make more rounds, you cannot notice that you've gone over. See, like this here, see this edge? I've done the chain 2 and I joined with a slip stitch. I did this here, right here. So if you look at the ends, you absolutely can see that. But gosh, through the rest of the square, and I don't know if anybody's going to really be looking at these ends, through the rest of the square, you really can't tell. And so now what we're going to do, now we've completed this round, but now if I wanted to do another round, I just flip it. And I go right back with the blue now. And you continue to do this. So I'm going to chain 2, or I should say slip stitch 2 into this chain 2 space. And now I chain 3, 2, 3. And then I do my 2 double crochet. So it's really a repeat of the second round. And again, you don't have that flub of the second round in that, where that last side is. I don't have, like I said, that's the only round that I have that issue with. But we keep doing this. I'll just quickly work through this round with you just to show you, to make sure that you have it down pat. But it's just a repeat, and it's really, I just love the results. I'm actually using this, these half square triangles in an off-white and a tan, and it's going to be a blanket. I'm going to be sewing them together in a pinwheel design and then sewing the squares together, and it's going to be a blanket. I have those I'm going to pair with a solid colored yarn and a solid granny square, and I think it's going to turn out really pretty. So, and as you can see, you can really work pretty fast getting this done. A little bit more here. And you could do an entire blanket like this. That's a spot in the yarn that's kind of had some fuzzies in it, but we're just going to keep going because this is just for an instructional purpose. Now, there's one more trick now that I'm thinking about it I want to show you. So I just did my last one on this side. So here's where I'm going to change yarn, right? So remember I brought that yarn up straight, and you can see where I brought that yarn up straight right here. When you crochet your 2 double crochets in that last corner, make sure that you work around that, and you'll capture it right in there, and it'll be snug up against the work, and you will not see that. See that? How nicely? Of course I have a yarn that I need to weave in here later, but how nice that looks. Okay, now we're going to do our chain 1, and now we're going to go back to our green. And we snugged it up just a smidge down there. Get that snugged up. Bring it through. And it's like I said, it's okay if the blue isn't completely snugged up right now, because we'll snug it up later. And here we go with our 2 double crochet in the corner, because we did our chain 1, and then a double crochet in each stitch. And then it just works up so nice and fast, and I really love the look of this pattern. And it just depends on what colors. I think this would be a great way to use up yarn scraps, make a scrappy kind of a blanket. That might be what I do yet, but I think I'd want to make sure that I used the yarn scraps that are similar. Like if I had a bunch of Caron Simply Soft, I would use that. I don't know that I would pair that with a Red Heart yarn, because the Red Heart yarn is so much thicker. And it just doesn't have the same look and feel. So I'll try and pair similar yarns. I think if I was using up yarn scraps. And I'm almost done here. And see, this just works out perfectly. You go into the last ones, and oh, right here's my last one, if I can get in here. And then you do your double crochets and your chain 2, and then you slip stitch. I'm going to go this way for now, just to get it done. And just to show you. There you go. I got my yarn ends here, but there you go. This square is all done. I just need to weave in a few, and I could keep going and keep adding on rounds. But you see how nice that is looking in the middle there? You just cannot see it. So thank you for watching, and I hope that you give the half square triangle a try. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe.